between his heat. Hit him with the jab, get a good look. Good look, good look, good look, good look, good look, good look. ISO zones, breaking bones. Put your hands up when you getting sent home off a good look. Good look, good look, good look, good look, good look, good look. It's the Good Look Podcast. It's the Good Look Podcast. It's the Good Look Podcast.
Yes, sir, and welcome to episode 39 of the Good Look Podcast. I'm your host, Leonard Pinckney, a.k.a. Agent P, a.k.a. L. Pinckney, here to give you guys another episode. Sorry, couldn't drop the episode last week. Had to deal with some stuff. Couldn't be there for the season opener, but I'm back now. Back to give you guys another episode, obviously, and I'm excited to do it. It's been a week and a half of NBA basketball. It's really fun to have the league back. I can't wait to discuss these topics with you guys and get a little bit more into what's going on with the beginnings of the year. So let me go ahead and talk about some of the early season going-ons pretty much. But before I do that, thank you if you're watching this on YouTube. Please like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Just hit that button right there for me. It really helps me moving forward, trying to get this podcast out to more people, try to, just broaden my little scope that I got right now. So it's much appreciated. You could recommend it to your friends, of course. Word of mouth always helps. So thank you for that. And you can listen to the podcast normally like I have it on my Anchor FM, through my Instagram at the Good Look Podcast, and then on Twitter at L Pinckney, LPINKNEE. So go on there, listen to it through your normal DSPs, your normal podcasting sites. Please leave a review for those. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get this started, y'all. All right, so this is going to be my season opener for season 2 of the Good Look Podcast. So this will be episode 1. I was supposed to be last week, obviously, but going to get right into it. Shout out to my guy Jarwin for doing the first episode on video. Really appreciate that. I think we almost got 50 views. So thanks for everyone who took the time to view and listen. I'm going to get my chicken sandwich since Brooklyn went ahead and beat those Dubs on opening night pretty easily. So thanks to my guy Jarwin for doing that for me. Easy money. Players of the week in the NBA, Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans and Domantas Sabonis. Shout out to them. Spencer Dinwiddie's going to be out for the year with a partially torn ACL. It's unfortunate. For Brooklyn, they were doing really well. And Spencer Dinwiddie, even though his numbers weren't there, he was going to be a creator and someone who, even if they weren't going to keep everyone together, I was talking about it on the last pod with Brooklyn. If they're going to end up consolidating their roster, he's one of those guys who you could have traded or kept because he provides a lot of versatility for you offensively. And now that he's hurt, it's the second time he's torn his ACL. He tore it back when he was in college in Colorado. So hoping for a speedy recovery for Spencer because he's going to be a free agent. We hopefully see him get healthy and hopefully he can get himself paid and rock out with the rest of his career. So shout out to him. John Morant, really bad ankle sprain, grade 2 ankle sprain, out 3 to 5 weeks, came down on a player's foot. Everybody who hoops, you know how painful that is, and Jaws was just extra painful. 3 to 5 weeks on an ankle sprain, that's a really bad ankle sprain, and y'all know how I feel. So hopefully Ja comes back sooner. Hope it's the 3 and not the 5, and he comes back because he was off to a monster start. He was killing in the preseason, going hard, dropped 40 in the first game of the season for the Grizzlies. So hopefully Ja comes back strong and we can see what he does moving forward. And the G League, they're looking to have an 18-team bubble in Orlando starting February 8th. So that G League Ignite team that has Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Isaiah Todd, Kai Soto, those guys, along with the regular G League teams, are going to go ahead and try to get over to Orlando and try to get the league going again. It's something that all leagues are trying to figure out. Like baseball, obviously they're the most known minor league system They're the ones that are trying their best to try to get their minor leagues back in order. NBA trying to do the same thing. 18 teams in the bubble, get some more development, get some more guys going down there. So it's a big deal. Hopefully they can get everything figured out and start that up in Orlando. Since I did bring up baseball, shout out to the Padres real quick. One time getting my boys Yu Darvish and Blake Snell in this thing. We about to be real in this thing. You feel me? San Diego in this. I can't say more than that, but San Diego in this thing. You feel me? But yeah, let me go ahead and get into my impressions. So for the pod, most of this, guys, is just going to be first week impressions. So my biggest takeaway is the thing I'm going to tell y'all about first, obviously. And that's going to kind of guide the rest of this pod. So let me just go ahead, instead of continuing to try to explain it, let me go ahead and let y'all know what it is. So my biggest takeaway for the first week and a half is what it's not what I call, but the theme will be streaks. So the NBA is literally defined by streaks. So every game literally embodies streaks. The way that teams win games is how they react to streaks, how teams are able to withstand runs. That is pretty much how this league works. So, I mean, if you look at the current standings right now, you have teams like the Wizards who are 0-4. My Nuggets are 1-3. Toronto's 0-3. Miami's 2-2. Even the Lakers are 3-2. So there are some people who are going to be out there and take these records and try to, amplify them and want to make real big statements early. And I get it. It's not always fun to try to be the measured one, to try to have the normal level-headed take, because the takes that really are out there, the ones that get the attention, are the ones that are crazy, or the ones that people try to make these bold statements early on because they want to be right and tell you, I told you so down the line. But honestly, it's way too early to be talking about this stuff. If these same teams started, let's just say 25-17, and they end up winning 3 in a row, and they're 28-17, and they lose 4 in a row, 28-21. You're not really going to pay attention to it that much, but because we're starving for basketball and because everything is so new and we want everything to just come together so quick, we try to make bold proclamations right away. So we say the Wizards are done. Denver's done. Toronto, they're not going to make the playoffs. Miami, are they that good? The Lakers, they're 3-2. How good are they? Or they don't really care about it. Maybe that's the take. So I think especially in a season like this, where I'll talk about it a little bit more later in the pod, where there's just so much still that's uncertain. We don't even have a second half of our schedule yet. You have teams that are just focusing on different things. Teams have different priorities at this point. So I would just say that streaks are going to continue in the league. And just like a regular basketball game, we're going to have some streaks and some weird ebbs and flows, especially to the beginning of this year. I'll talk about it a little bit later in the pod, but that's what I want to get across first. So streaks, keep that in mind. Take a lot of these things with a grain of salt, because we've only seen maybe 3, or these teams play 3 or 4 basketball games. That being said, it's all we have to go off. I will give you my honest takes, obviously, and the things that I believe, and more often than not that I believe are correct. But take these things with a grain of salt. We're only 4 games in. Jokic MVP watch. So I told y'all my guy Jokic was coming out for blood. Big Honey, the Joker, out here doing the damn thing for the Denver Nuggets, averaging 24 points, 12 assists, and 13 boards for a big man. Y'all knew what it was. And I checked his odds in Vegas. They actually slashed in half last night from plus 2,500 to, I believe, 1,200. I just let y'all know. The only thing that will hold him back from winning the MVP is their record. They're 1-3 right now. So obviously, as a Nuggets fan, I'm not too concerned. 1-3, it's obviously you wish you were 4-0 at this point, but 1-3 early on in the season. I'm not really too concerned about it. The biggest concern for my team right now are the defense and the second unit. Defensively, it's just hard to have Jokic be your anchor because anytime there's a pick and roll, there's a drop coverage, and teams can take advantage of that middle game. And getting to the basket is pretty easy. And if you go up against Jokic, he's not really going to contest you too much. So defensively, that's something we're going to have to improve on. Michael Porter's playing more minutes out there, so he's just going to have to get adjusted a lot faster, and it's going to take time. But this team is a Jamal Murray game away and a really random crazy tip against Sacramento in the first game. We're 2 games away from either being 2-2 or 3-1. So my panic meter is not even close to being high at this point. If anyone did watch the Sacramento game and has League Pass, Michael Porter, he had probably his worst defensive half I've ever seen. And you could see at the end of the second quarter when he left Harrison Barnes wide open, all 4 players on the Nuggets team were just like, bro, what are you doing? You just can't leave a dude on a rotation that wide open. It doesn't make sense. And that's what's going to happen with this kid. But as a person who follows this team very closely, I'm okay with that. Because in the third quarter, he had his best defensive effort I have ever seen him have in a basketball game. It was awesome to see him adjust. He did something I've never seen him do before, and that's have a ball denial, hard pressure on a dribble handoff when Harrison Barnes tried to come up from the corner to the top of the key to get a handoff. He hard denied, and I've never seen Porter give that kind of defensive effort. He was staying in front of guys, keeping his hands straight up, defending well, blocking shots. And I think it's the kind of game that can be a turning point. It's where there's a lot of times where players talk about it, and you hear about it more with the more veteran, successful guys. They talk about the moment that everything just clicks. Something just feels right. And I think that kind of quarter is what Porter bars could establish and take advantage of and build on for future games for this team, because we want him to make these mistakes now. He's not a good defender, but he showed in the third quarter that he can be confident, that he can stay in front of a guy and keep his hands up and rotate correctly. And guess what? With all that crap, 30 and 10, 12 of 18 from the field. So you're going to take it, and you're going to have to go through some of these ups and downs. And ultimately, I think it's good for them in the long run. It doesn't feel good now because you're losing and you're not playing that great defense. But I think eventually once things start to calm down, and because right now it feels like he's the guy that gets all the blame, even though there's plenty of other guys on the team that get blown by, plenty of other guys who give up buckets. He doesn't give up every basket, but because it's such a narrative for him, he has to double down extra to try to shake it. So I think he knows that, and I think the third quarter shows, and I think this coaching staff is going to continue to show him, hey, man, third quarter, look at the defense you played. If you can do that, we're going to win a lot of basketball games because you're not giving up as many points and you're still getting a bunch of buckets. He scored 12 in the third, and he was able to bring us back and give us a lead in that. So despite the loss, I think it's okay. And Denver is one of those teams, not just because they're my team, that even though they're 1-3, I'm not concerned about the record at all. Next up are the no longer New Jersey Brooklyn BK in the house. Brooklyn Nets, they look amazing. Now, it's funny how I talked about how not to take these with a grain of salt, but you got to start somewhere, right? And I said Jokic is going to win the MVP. Numbers look right. I said the Nets are going to win the title. They're off to as good of a start as you could possibly get off to, probably. Other than the fact that they lost Spencer Dinwiddie, which I talked about is going to be tough. But that's what makes this team special. It's their depth. It's not just that they have the high-end talent of Kyrie and Katie. It's that they have all this depth to help them move forward and through the ups and downs of the Eastern Conference. So And not just that, because of that top end talent, Kyrie and Durant, they look like the best duo in the East. Guys, they look outstanding. Just in the game against Atlanta, Kevin Durant almost had a triple-double, and Kyrie shot like 3 for 16, and then he dropped like 15 points in the fourth quarter just because he's that deadly. So, and defensively, if you look at the metrics, they say they're the best team in terms of defensive efficiency in the league. Now, I don't think they're that good. I think eventually they're going to regress to the mean and probably finish somewhere within 10 to 15. But they do have Jarrett Allen on the back line, which really helps their defense. So I think they probably max out around like top. If they were fifth in the league in defensive efficiency, I would believe it. I think that's the most realistic place they can be in. But I think all around, Kyrie's not a good defender. Kevin Durant, once he's in shape, he's going to be a good defender for him. And they started Luau Cabarro, who can be an okay defender. Joe Harris, okay defender. But they have DeAndre Jordan and, more importantly, Jarrett Allen on the back line. So I think those guys are really going to help them in terms of their defense. And as long as they're middle of the pack to top 10 defense, that offense is going to carry them. I didn't even mention Karis LeVert. So they still are in line to try to consolidate. But if it looks good right now, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think you should right now. Durant, let's go back to him. He just looks absolutely awesome. It's funny because you can tell he's still trying to get his basketball legs under him. And while he's trying to do that, he's only shooting 53% from the field. He's only shooting 69% from three with some rust. And even with that rust, you're getting this type of production. He's not going to shoot these percentages the whole season, obviously. But you can just see he had a couple behind the back moves, crossovers, in the lane, layups, getting to his spots, doing the things that Kevin Durant does. Go Stephen A on him. 6'10" with a 7'3" wingspan can pull up from 30. Oh, man. Kevin Durant looks great, and I'm just happy that dude is back on the basketball court. We missed him, man. And Kyrie Irving, even though he didn't shoot well against the Hawks, he was a crazy closer and did all the things that you thought that Kyrie is known for in that game. Got him a win. And he, before that game, was averaging 29, shooting 61% from the field. So offensively, man, this team is going to be absolutely incredible. They're both going to be just fine. And I look forward to seeing these Brooklyn Nets play out this entire year and ultimately get to the spot that I think they're going to get to, and that's the NBA Finals, and ultimately taking home the chip. All right, guys, so next topic. I was going to just hella rain on the parade of all the remaining undefeated teams or the teams that are doing well out of the gate. But, I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give these teams their shine because it's not going to last long. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to go ahead and give these guys some due because it's just not going to last too long. So shout out Cleveland and the Sexland backcourt. That was a hard nickname given out by Larry Nance. They've been tough. And Colin Sexton, he has stepped up for sure. He's averaging 25 per game up to this point. They were 3-0. They had just lost their last game to the Knicks. They have these young guys stepping up. Darius Garland looks a little bit more calm and assertive and more decisive in terms of his playmaking, decision-making. He's upped his averages to 18 and 8 in the early going. And you got Andre Drummond, who's been playing like he's always played. And he's continuing to remind people about the good aspects of his game. I've been one who has been critical of him because I'm not the only one, but I've been critical of him just like many others because of the new NBA and how he doesn't really shoot threes, and he's kind of like a relic of a past time. But he's been averaging 15 plus boards, and he's averaging like 20-16, 3-3, and that's 3 blocks and 3 steals at this time. So honestly, other than shooting, he does everything that you'd want from the center position. And he had a 3-year stretch in Detroit where he was averaging 15 plus boards a game. So if he keeps playing like this, he'll keep the Cavs interesting. Now, obviously, they have to deal with Kevin Love and his possible injury history. Reared its ugly head again. He ended up straining his calf, and he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks like he always is. So they'll at least be fun to watch. Isaac Okoro is a solid rookie. The jump shot is still something he has to work on, but he's athletic. He's quick, fast. He can do a lot of other things for you. So he'll have to focus on what he does well. And Chetty Osman, he's still there. He's a solid role player. Cleveland's going to be all right. They're still going to be bad. This 3-1 start is just a facade. But if you're a Cavs fan, which I don't know how many of you are when LeBron's not on the team, but you should be slightly excited. They're going to eventually have to break up that backcourt, I think, to try to get some more defensive versatility there. But I like what they have going, and they can go ahead and continue to move forward in that regard. The Orlando Magic are our last undefeated team. Shout out to the boy Markelle, even though he didn't play well in his last game. He's been hooping. He got that 3-year, $50 million extension. I'm happy for him. Nikola Vucevic has been his normal, steady self. They're okay. I mean, they took a game from the Bucks last year in the playoffs, and then they got swept after that. So I don't really look into this 4-0 start too much for the Magic. They're going to end up coming back to earth eventually. Atlanta, they're 3-1, and Trae Young has found a way to elevate his game. And by elevate, I mean turning into mini Harden, because he has found a way to draw fouls at an absurd rate. He's getting into guys. He's flopping. He's doing the Chris Paul move, and instead of just backing into guys, he's letting defenders run into him, and he's just going up for shots. It's crafty. It's annoying, but it is crafty, and it's not going to get too annoying until maybe later in the season or as his career goes on and people keep wondering why he keeps getting all these calls just because he's small. But he's smart for doing it, and he's been playing really well. Atlanta has zero identity on defense, but offensively they're fun. So they're going to keep doing what they can to try to get buckets and try to outscore teams. In that game against Brooklyn, they scored 141. The only problem was they gave up 145. So they're going to be fun to watch. That offense is going to be humming most of the year. Cam Reddish is stepping up. Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, he looks more comfortable this season. Clint Capella, John Collins. I don't know why they want to get rid of John Collins. I guess they just don't want to give him the max, but that doesn't make sense. I think he's such a good fit for them, but maybe John Collins ends up getting moved and they can try to figure something out. But it's what I predicted earlier. I thought that the Hawks were going to get into the playoffs, and they're right on their way. And one more team I'm going to shout out, the Indiana Pacers. They're not necessarily bad, but they're off to a 3-1 start. Sabonis is playing like a man possessed, won that Eastern Conference Player of the Week. So they're going to deserve some props. Miles Turner has been playing outstanding basketball. Makes it even more egregious that the Celtics didn't get anything when they tried to do a sign and trade with Indiana with Gordon Hayward. Miles Turner, he had a game where he had 7+ blocks. Like, the dude is just turning into a monster defensively, and they've been starting them together, and it's been working so far. I don't know how it's going to work against the better teams in the league, but it's been doing well so far. So shout out to Indiana. They're going to continue to play hard. Coach Bjorkgren has given them a slightly more offensively scoped game, and they still haven't gotten the best out of Victor Oladipo. He's still trying to find his way back. So if he finds any semblance, man, if Vic gets back to any kind of 2017 form, then look out at it. Look out for Indiana for sure. Let's see what else I got here. I'm going to hit a couple of rules/trends that have been just bothering me already. It feels like it's preseason for the NBA officials too, guys. Traveling is being called way too damn much. It's being called mostly on when guys get catch the ball on the wing, catch the ball at the top of the key from the triple threat, and then just take that first dribble and go. Everybody knows what that is. And the officials, for some reason, want to call it so damn much. Like, I get it. It's technically a travel, but come on, man. But this happens every year. The officials end up having some kind of emphasis told to them by the league, and the league is like, "Hey, make sure you watch this. The guys are traveling." What they need to be doing is watching these jump shooters. There's been such an emphasis on jump shooting now and protecting the shooter that refs are just overly cautious now. There's just players who decide to kick their legs out and flail, and they get the calls all the time. All these fouls on 3-point shots, it's absolutely ridiculous. There was a stat with Jamal Crawford being the guy who had like the most 4-point plays in NBA history. His record's going to end up falling in the next 5 years because refs are continuing to just make these stupid calls and look at players and just say, hey, I mean, they're getting touched. They can't land. I think refs just need to have a little more discretion, man. Like when we're talking about refs having discretion with technical fouls, refs need to have more discretion when we're talking about jump shooting. It's just it's way too much for me. I hate it. Along with the traveling just being called way too much. I think as the season goes on, they're going to be a little bit more lenient on the traveling. But the other thing that's killing me is, which I don't think will happen, is the new continuation. Oh my God. So guys, if you've been watching basketball, you know what the NBA continuation is. It's what you earn when you get out of college. When you come out from the Euro leagues and overseas, you get over here on the gather, 2 steps. Whenever there's contact, you get hit. That's a lay. That's an and one. You get that. You get the free throw. Now, when guys gather, the refs aren't calling continuations. I don't get it. Happened a bunch of times in the playoffs where refs weren't being consistent, and now it's happening again. What is going on? If you get the catch off the gather, it's 1-2. That's it. 1-2 lay. Let the game continue, man. That's why the NBA is great. Because we have athletes who are smart and they're able to finish through traffic and finish through contact and be smart enough and aware enough to know, hey, if I get the contact off the 1-2, I get to still shoot it. Now, if a player is more aware of it, they're being punished for it. And what kind of sense does that make? I don't get it. And I will continue to be on the soapbox for it. They need to change it. They need to figure out how to go back to the old rule because what's happening is that they got the league is mad and fans are mad because players would kind of mess with the rules and just on certain continuations, like we were talking about when guys shoot from like 30, 35 feet out, refs would be like, oh, he's shooting. You know, I have to call it. He didn't put the ball down, so I have to call that. I get that. That's annoying. So they're trying to cut down on that, but now they're doing it on drives, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I'd want the officials to be told, hey, don't be so crazy on these travels. Let the continuations be the continuations. And one final thing, let motherfuckers play defense. Just a little. Like if I am playing defense, if I move my feet and there's a little bit of contact because the offensive player literally dribbles into my chest, I don't move. He dribbles into my chest and I get called for the foul. What am I supposed to do as a defender? I can't do anything. If I cut the baseline off and the offensive guy goes into me and I move back a little or I stand my ground, I get called for the foul. And I don't understand why. Like, you'll see guys dribble, like 2-3 dribbles to the wing or try to get to the basket, and they're cut off by the defender. And because there's a little body contact on the chest or torso area, it's a wrap. Refs are calling the whistle like that. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't allow anyone to play defense. If you're saying hands off, okay, fine. But then I can't even use my body to try to cut somebody off. If I make contact there, it's a wrap. Like, how square do I need to be? How level do I have to be? Who can play defense if you want people to do that? If there's no contact allowed, and it happens with different officiating crews, some things are emphasized, some aren't. I just don't understand that there isn't a level of consistency there. If we allowed some guys to make contact and we don't call it, and there's certain games where there's minimal contact and we do call it, that's just where it gets annoying. So as a fan, I just want more consistency. As a person who consumes a lot of this game, seeing different officiating crews call it in different ways is just really annoying, and I want more consistency in our league. That's all I'm asking for. Rant over. A couple of teams, and sorry, actually I had one more team, so I'm gonna go ahead and show them some love. The San Antonio Spurs. All the young talent on the Spurs, I love it. They're doing a lot of good things, and they've been doing it without Derek White, Lonnie Walker IV, Keldon Johnson, DeJounte Murray. They even have Devin Vassell, who's still getting his bearings, but he's got a lot of talent. I like what San Antonio is doing. I said this was a transition year. I believe it still is. So as long as they continue to develop that talent in San Antonio, they're going to be exciting. They're already fun and exciting to watch. Keldon Johnson plays hella hard, and he shoots threes, and he gets to the rack. Lonnie Walker is incredibly athletic. DeJounte, I think he had like a 29, 7, and 7 the other night. So the talent is there, man. All I got to do is continue to develop, and Pop's there to be there every step of the way. Speaking of Pop, he got ejected in his last game against the Lakers. So we got to see something incredible. Shout out to Becky Hammon becoming the first woman ever to stand in as a head coach in the NBA. Even if it was just to be the interim because Pop got ejected, that's an incredible accomplishment. And before long, Becky's going to be the first female head coach in the NBA. Mark the words. It's been in the works for a while. Can't wait till she gets that opportunity. So shout out to her becoming the first woman to do it. She deserves it. And while we're shouting out people from the Lakers game, we got to shout out the King, LeBron James, turning 36 years old. It's crazy. He's been in the league for 18 years. He entered the league at 18 years old, and he's been dealing with pressure and hype his entire career, and he's exceeded it, and he's done an incredible job. And shout out to LeBron for being either the greatest or one of the greatest, depending on how you want to articulate it. But just shout out to him. Happy birthday to the King. And the Lakers got another dub last night, so now they're above 500. But we'll go ahead and get into the next topic here. Rookies that have looked good so far. So I liked James Wiseman to be my Rookie of the Year pick, and what I've seen so far makes me feel very confident in that pick. The kid shows flashes. He shows flashes of Chris Bosh. But he's just taller and he's more wiry. I heard someone say Kevin Garnett-ish, a little. But I saw him come off a Steph pick and roll and just yam on somebody with his right hand. Excuse me. And then I saw him end up coming up on a poster on some dude, and then I saw him get a block, take it all the way down coast to coast and yam on somebody. So, I mean, James Wiseman, he looks like the dude. So I thought he was the best player coming into the draft. I knew the Warriors were going to get an incredible player to move forward with, and he's done nothing to change my mind. Tyrese Halliburton is amazing. That kid closed out my team like it was nothing. He just knows what he's doing, man. And the jump shot looks funny, but it works. He can operate in the pick and roll. He just knows how to play. He knows where the ball's supposed to be at all times. And he's going to be fun to watch moving forward as well. It's going to be fun to see him and De'Aaron Fox work together, kind of like how Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet work together, that multiple point guard ball handler system that they have. I think the Kings are going to eventually move into the starting lineup and end up trying to do that so they can just bring some more offensive versatility to that team. I like him. Keep an eye on Isaiah Roby. He's only played one game, and he's technically not a rookie. He played 3 games for OKC last year. In his first game, he had like 17 points, I believe. The kid is fluid. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He literally looks like a child. Kid has no facial hair at all, but he's like 6'8" and he can hoop. So shout out to the Thunder just in general, because they're going to be fun to watch. Like Lou Dort's crazy. SGA's dope. He had a game winner the other night. and Alexei Pokusevsky is going to be interesting. I'm paying attention to them. They're going to still be bad. They're not going to get a lot of wins, but they're going to make things fun. Just like the Cavs are going to make things a little more fun. These teams on the lower tier, even though they're not that great, they're going to make things fun. So shout out to the Thunder. I like the flashes that Patrick Williams has shown. He's just an NBA body. As long as he gets more playing time, he's going to be fine. Anthony Edwards is good too. I think I gave him a little bit of crap for his preseason game, but I took it back because I was like, it's a preseason game. Who cares, man? The kid knows how to score. He can get buckets, and he's shown a little bit of personality as well in the social media vids. So shout out to him. He's going to be nice. Peyton Pritchard for the Celtics. He's been a solid point guard for them, running their offense and running it well. With no Kemba there, and who knows when Kemba's going to be back, man. They're going to be relying on that kid for a couple months in this NBA season. So late first rounder, Celtics might have found a solid point guard for themselves. And then Precious Achiuwa, man, that dude is he just screams athleticism. Like he's 6'9" and just looks like he's bigger than everyone on the court. And he's just mad athletic. He's going to be a factor in Miami. He's still mad raw. But when you have a dude who has those measurables, who looks like that as a rookie, you got a lot to work with, and Miami just has him like a piece of clay. Like they know this kid is going to be nice moving forward. So I like what they're doing with Precious Achiuwa over there with the Miami Heat. I'm going to mention LaMelo because he finally had a good game against the Mavericks. They were up by 30 at some points in that game. He's Jason Williams 2.0, y'all. I'm telling you, the shooting percentages are going to be bad, but he's exciting. He's going to make fun plays. He's going to make incredible passes. He's going to make the Hornets fun to watch. But they're going to be a bad team, and he's going to have some really bad nights shooting the ball. So he's going to have to continue to work on it. He's got time. He's still really young, but he can rebound well, and he can pass the ball really well. He's kind of got like the same thing that Lonzo had going for him, and Lonzo still continues to suffer from, is the jump shot. His jumper and three-point shot have gotten better. Lonzo still needs to work on the free throws, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing that his brother had to deal with. So hopefully LaMelo stays in that gym. He gets some more shooting. He gets better shooting mechanics. They try to continue to work with him and try to get him to be the best player he can possibly, because he does it a lot well. Like offensively and rebounding wise, playmaking, the kid does a lot well, but he still has to work on his defensive effort and most importantly his jump shot. All right, y'all. And then the last topic for the pod today, will the three-point barrage continue, and will these blowouts continue as well? The Clips lost by like 51, man. That was insane. The Bucks, they won by 47 against the Heat, hit a record 29 NBA threes. All the Christmas Day games were blowouts. Like, it's just been blowout city, and it really sucks because I was looking forward to those Christmas games, and none of them were close. But I do think there's a couple of things to pay attention to here, and I'm going to mention them right now. No preseason in this short turnaround is something that is really affecting these teams right now. Even with the teams that have been together, like the Lakers and the Heat, those veteran squads, it just takes time, to just get your rhythm back and to find cohesiveness and to gel. So we're bound to have some sloppy and weird basketball happen. So that's what you've seen the past couple weeks, and it's going to continue to happen. It's just because preseason you usually have 8 to 10 games where you can work out some kinks, and then you have a month-long training camp. Like, there's just so much time that was missed, that was truncated because we had to start the season now. And you already see that those ill effects are starting to rear their ugly heads just a month or a week and a half into the year. So that's reason number one why I think we're seeing the kind of basketball we're seeing right now. Number two is just sustainability. So the regular season has been pretty downplayed as time has gone on, the years go by, and the top teams have followed suit. The Lakers don't care. The Lakers on ring night couldn't have given more of a F about that game. They did not give a damn about that game. The Clippers were the ones who had all the incentive to win. The Lakers just want to be healthy. The Lakers just want to make sure they're clicking at the right time when it's postseason time. That's pretty much it. LeBron's got his first ring with the Lakers. He knows that he can coast throughout this regular season now. Nobody cares what he does unless it involves him getting a ring at the end of the year. So you saw the Bucks again beat Miami by 47 in large parts of all those threes, but they didn't even play Jimmy Butler for both matchups. So there's going to be teams who have guys who are resting for a while. And then you have the teams who – it's funny. The teams who have been resting for a while, the teams that haven't had any playing time since like March, like the Magic, the Hawks, the Cavs, those are the ones who have gotten off to a fast start, the ones who have said, damn, I haven't played in months. I'm so happy to get NBA basketball back in my life. So they've been itching to play, and these regular seasons just mean more to them. Sustainability also comes in the form of keeping these players healthy. We've already seen a couple of guys get hurt early on, and players get hurt every season. But unfortunately, we might have some happen early on just because that turnaround is so quick, and some of these guys haven't played in a long time. So it's going to be, I think, honestly, we're going to go about another month of this. We're going to see a bunch of weird blowouts. We're going to see teams resting guys and teams trying to figure out how they're going to navigate this season where COVID's still a real thing, and we're kind of playing almost baseball style matches where we play a home and home against each other, the same team twice in back-to-back games. So in order to just reduce travel as much as possible. So I think that's what's going to be going down. And I think you're going to just have to buckle up because it's going to be like this for a minute, y'all. It's going to be tough to see real good basketball going forward until these teams start to really catch their bearings, get some more practice time in, and find a way to get more cohesive. But we're still happy with it. You're still going to have fun games. You're going to have Atlanta and Brooklyn 145, 141. You're going to have those games. They're still going to be there. But on the whole, not on the whole, you're still going to see these really weird and wacky scores and teams getting blown out and stuff like that. Don't fret too much. We'll get back to normal pretty soon. I didn't talk about these guys. I'll go ahead and just get this news out the way, the extension stuff. So Gobert maxed out. Shout out to him. Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac maxed out or signed extensions with the Magic. Luke Kennard extended with the Clips. OG Anunoby got extended by the Raptors. Derek White extended with the Spurs. Lonzo Ball, John Collins, and Lauri Markkanen have not been extended. So watch out for their seasons going forward. These guys are going to be playing for those extensions with their with their incumbent teams and possibly going into restricted free agency either with some momentum or not. So keep an eye on their situations. Markkanen's been nice. John Collins been really good. Lonzo been solid. So they're off to good starts. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not too much for the first week and a half. Like I said, try to take things with a grain of salt. But thank you again for listening. If you're on the YouTubes, please like, comment, subscribe, share it, do all those good things for me. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video and listen to the pod. And everyone on the Anchor FMs, all the DSPs, if you're listening just through the audio, I appreciate you taking the time to listen again. Please like, rate, comment, and review the pod. We're going to keep this thing going, y'all. I'll be back next week to go ahead and give y'all some more news and get to have some more under or overreactions depending on what we see in the next week of basketball. So want to thank you again for listening to the Good Look Podcast, the Season 2 opener. We're here on Season 2, y'all. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So I am Agent P, a.k.a. L. Pinckney, a.k.a. my real name, Leonard Pinckney. Thank you again for listening, y'all. I hope you have a good one.
Good look, good look, good look, good look, good look. It's the Good Look Podcast.